Welcome back, everyone, to the Goat Marketing Show. Uh, Thank you, Ben, for joining us today. How's it going?
It's going good. How are you? I like your backdrop.
Thank
Christmassy.
you. This is my big chair. I get a lot of comments on my big chair.
The mod
Um,
chair.
so today we're talking about something pretty fun and pretty cool that has been announced, I guess is the word. GTA 6. Uh, for anyone not familiar, I don't know how you wouldn't be familiar with it, given all the hype around it. But Grand Theft Auto 6 is a long awaited video game that is set to what, 2025 maybe? I don't know.
Allegedly. That's
Yeah.
what it said. Yeah.
But yeah, it's a long awaited game from a company called Rockstar. They made their last game in what year did you say it was, Ben?
The last Grand Theft Auto 5 released in 2013.
Uh,
September 17th, 2013 to be exact. So a little over 10 years ago was when it released.
that's
It
wild.
was announced, the first trailer for it was announced in 2011. And so we get to start that cycle all over. Basically, this is a different episode of the GOAT marketing show. I don't think we're going to be talking much about AI. I don't know if I'd be able to find a tie in there, but there's been a couple times where something's happened in the news and I've wanted to do a show specifically about that. I think the first time we did it was right after the World Cup final because it was such an incredible game and such an incredible story with Messi and Mbappe. And I've just felt passionately about it. And there was a tie into marketing in terms of the importance of like a really, truly cool story in captivating an audience. And so Doug and I talked about that. And then when the GTA 6 trailer dropped, one, I was so nostalgic because I loved the first game and I loved like the rollout of it and being excited about something. I just felt like a kid again. It felt so passionate. And I wanted to find a way to talk about it on the show. One, just because I wanted to talk about it because it's really cool to me. But I think there also is like a tie-in to marketing. And I think really what the tie-in is about is about managing expectations when putting out a product or putting out content. And I think this might be the most highly anticipated game or piece of entertainment ever. Like from an audience that is extremely vocal and involved and has waited so long. I think this is the most anticipated entertainment product ever. And the expectations for it are like impossibly like almost insurmountably high. And I before we like kind of dive into the tie into marketing, I pulled some quick facts about Grand Theft Auto 5 just to put in perspective one, the scale of that game, and then to tie it into what exactly Rockstar Games was is trying to follow. It is absolutely mind-boggling. So Grand Theft Auto came out on September 17th, 2013. On day one, it made $800 million. It made $1 billion within 3 days, which makes it the fastest entertainment product in history to reach $1 billion. It doubled the predictions that analysts had for sales in that amount of time. It took 6 weeks for Grand Theft Auto 5 to sell as many copies as its predecessor, which was 29 million, I believe. As of fall 2023, it had sold 190 million copies, making it, I think, either one or two, like the most copies sold of a video game that's not on a mobile device. It's either one or two, and passed $8 billion in lifetime revenue on a development budget of less than $300 million. So it is also the most profitable product in entertainment history. And to speak to the longevity that this game has had, it came out in 2013. its second best year for sales was 2020. So 7 years post release, it was still in the zeitgeist and able to be like one of Rockstar's highest selling items.
Yeah, I was gonna say like the other thing that you could probably do a whole episode on is the longevity of it and how you keep people engaged with a single product for that long, and even not even just engaged, but like somehow like improving engagement, even though it was, it's kind of old at this point. Like it's in terms of video games, like it's an old game,
It
but
is.
somehow they still get people buying and continuing to play it. And yeah, it's wild.
You can actually get that game on 3 generations of console. So it released on like the PlayStation 3, Xbox 360. It was remastered for the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. And you can also now get it on the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X. So it actually, the development of Grand Theft Auto 6 surpassed the entire life cycle of the PlayStation 4, which is just like insane.
Yeah.
And so in 2011, just to put in perspective, so 2011 Grand Theft Auto 5's first trailer released. In 2011, you and I were in grade 9. The number one movie that year was Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. The Grammy for Song of the Year was Rolling in the Deep by Adele.
Oh.
Kim Kardashian just got divorced to Chris Humphrey.
Oh.
And Charlie Sheen had his public meltdown.
Wow.
So 12 years
Holy.
between the Grand Theft Auto 5 first trailer and now the Grand Theft Auto 6 trailer.
That's bizarre.
So you have 12, I guess I wouldn't, maybe not 12 years of hype. We'd say, let's say 10 years of people wondering what the next installment in the most successful entertainment product in history is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
You have leaks and rumors and, changes in leadership at Rockstar, people wondering if, in today's age of wokeness, are they going to lose their edge? Like starting to doubt it. Are the graphics going to keep up? What kind of story could they tell? And then 2 days ago, you get trailer 1, and it absolutely blows the minds of virtually everyone who had been waiting for it. Fun fact, the GTA 5 trailer and the GTA 6 trailer both hit 100 million views on the same day. Meaning,
Whoa.
it took 12 years for that trailer for GTA 5 to get to 100 million views and about a day and a half for the GTA 6 one. So GTA 6 trailer is the most viewed non-music video on YouTube in history. And so I think that speaks to how they, one, were able to generate this hype train. Obviously, the game was going to generate it by itself. The audience and the people who played it, like they wanted it in the first place. And Rockstar is such experts at like being kind of secretive and not alluding to it. But what was really interesting about GTA 6 was that there was leaks. Like there was full alpha leaks of the game, and people kind of knew like what the characters were going to look like, where it was going to take place. And Rockstar announced when the trailer was going to come out. It was supposed to come out in the morning. It actually got leaked on Twitter the night before, but it was leaked kind of like grainy and it had a watermark on it. So Rockstar was just like, screw it. Our trailer has leaked. Here's the real thing. Please watch it on our YouTube channel. And so they kind of handled the narrative that way, which I thought was really smart. They're like, if you're going to watch it, you might as well watch the real deal. And it's actually like unfathomable to think of how much anticipation there was for the game, and for them to deliver a trailer that just blew your mind. Like it fully exceeded every expectation I think any reasonable person watching it would have had. And I think from a marketing standpoint, it just expectation management isn't about just like meeting the hype where it is, and it's definitely not about under delivering. But if you're expecting to roll out a product that, maybe the clients that we work with, or most people work with, they're not rolling out $1 billion products. But if you're rolling out something that's like a substantial rollout for your agency, or wherever your company, like waiting until it's ready, like building that hype is so important. But you have to exceed the expectation. You have to understand so you have to understand your audience and what they're expecting, and you have to find a way to go above. And I think that just applies across. That's not even about product rollouts. That applies to what you and I do as well. Like, it's just good enough isn't good enough. And I think Rockstar, what they just did with the GTA 6 rollout, is about as good an example as you can get for that. Like, you can't just meet expectations. You have to blow them out of the water.
Yeah. And I think that, like, yeah, there's a whole list of like angles that you could look at this, and like you could talk about stuff like these leaks and relating that to like user generated content and how that helps building an audience and keeping an audience engaged. You could talk about just the idea of like audience cultivation. Like, think about how long some of these people have been fans of Grand Theft Auto, and how easy it would be to fall out of love with a game, but how they've managed to keep their audience engaged and keep their audience anticipating. And yeah, I mean, there's just so many different ways that you could applaud Rockstar for how they've built this. And this is only just the beginning of their
Oh
approach to
yeah.
the game too. Like, this is literally the first thing that they've done.
And we probably won't hear
crazy.
from them again for, like, if we follow in the footsteps of their last two major releases. Like, I think it was between Grand Theft Auto 5's first trailer and the second time we heard about it, it was like a year. Same with Red Dead Redemption. Like, they're going to put this out here, they're going to let it fester and let everyone talk about it and overhype it and super frame by frame analysis. Cause now you'll get a ton of user generated content about that. The Reddit threads are going to be going crazy. They have people who, try and build the map of the game before it's released. And it's just, they've basically just like thrown a grenade into this pool of people that are just like salivating for content about the game, and they're going to do the marketing for them. And then as we get to the end of 2024 and like the holiday season, you're going to see Rockstar really ramp it up with their marketing for the game of like, huge billboards and massive commercials and, full demos of it. They'll probably tie it in. I know Sony is looking at a PlayStation 5 Plus or PlayStation 5 Pro. I would imagine that there will be some sort of bundle to get both of those. So there's, incentive for it's also only releasing on the next generation consoles too. So Microsoft and Sony, they're going to be quite thankful for this game, because I think it's going to be the straw that forces a lot of people to upgrade their systems to the next generation. So there's a lot of implications on this industry coming out of this game. And it's just it's so cool to be able to watch it again. And just as marketers, like watching what they do from a communication strategy is pretty spectacular, and speaks to like the importance of cultivating like a passionate audience that cares about what you're doing, because they will do a lot of the marketing for you if they're that passionate about it.
And that's the other thing that you kind of touched on already was like the idea of like the timing of this, and how there's like so many different opportunities where they could have produced content and released like they could have been producing content for years and they haven't been. And it's like just the understanding of the timing, understanding of your audience, and like not delivering something before it's ready, and just the quality over quantity in terms of content, and how that one piece of good content it can be way more effective than 100 pieces of mediocre content. And I feel like we could just go on about this for an hour, but
It's I would definitely, like, I would 100% do that. Like, I don't know. It's so big. I think so. Earlier, I said it's either the first or the second most sold game of all time. It actually is the second, only behind Minecraft. And like the reason I think for that is there's only one Minecraft, right? Like there's not like Minecraft 2, which has sold 300 million copies, which is also just like insane, like almost the entire population of the United States.
yeah, that's a different piece though. That goes on any platform, and it's way smaller to download and way more
Yeah.
accessible to people. So that's
It's so, yeah, it's kid friendly. Like
yeah,
it's not a niche type thing. I think a lot of GTA's financial success too is not just like the base game, it was the online aspect of it. I can't find it right now, but there was something I was reading the other day that said like even in 2022, like because of the microtransactions that you have in Grand Theft Auto Online, Grand Theft Auto 5 was like in the top 10 for top grossing games. Like in 2022, like 9 years after its release, it's still in the top 10. Like that is just, I don't know. It really is kind of hard to put it into words, like the level of success that it has had. And it's just like, man, the pressure
oh
to
yeah,
deliver on that is in, like, it is like there are like not many words that you could say to it. Like think about how many times you have like an artist who puts out an album and you love the album, and then the follow-up album
just
just,
flop.
it's not the same, or worse, it's the same. Like
Yeah,
it's
well, yeah,
right.
yeah,
Like Rockstar can't just put out another GTA 5. Like they have to put out a game that has more detail, is bigger in like size and like scale, with a more in-depth story that has more opportunities to expand and last probably another 10, 15 years before they go and do it again. Like
yeah.
it's so cool to think about. Anyway, we could keep going on that forever. This is probably a good point to
Yeah.
wrap it
Well,
up anyway.
why don't we like next year when they release their next trailer,
Yeah,
we'll do a follow-up episode where we see what's happened in the past year or whatever, and see what else they've done and what else they're going to do.
that sounds like a brilliant idea. But yeah,
Perfect.
the big, to tie it up in a bow, expectation management is not about meeting expectations. It is about exceeding them, and
Mhm.
exceeding them with purpose, and blowing your audience out of the water whenever you get a chance to. That was the point of why I wanted to talk about this, as much as I wanted to talk about a game that I grew up playing and am excited for again. There is a huge tie-in to what we do for clients every day.
Beautiful.
Cool. Thanks, John.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you everyone for watching. We will see you next week probably for the next episode. So
We'll be
thanks.
back to AI next
Yeah,
week, we promise. Yeah.
back to your regularly scheduled program.
Oh, actually, before we jump off, there was something that happened to me today that I thought was, this is completely unrelated, but it talks about the importance of knowing your customer's buying cycle. I guess it's been a while since I've got a haircut. I don't know if you could tell. And I just got a text from my barber saying, it's been a long time since you've had a trim. You should swing by and book now. And I was like, oh, that's actually a pretty good idea. I should. So that there's an example of, knowing my buying cycle and reaching out giving me the right content at the right time. And I'm going to convert on that and go book a haircut.
Well, maybe next week, if you're back on the show, you'll look a little different.
Yeah. Hopefully.
All right. Well, thank you everyone, and we will see you next time.
See ya.